As an executive that's under the age of 35, how do you think your generation is being viewed differently from today's executives?
I think the one thing that's different is, and you hear a lot of the things out and through normal talks that a lot of the times our generation is, you hear the word sometimes lazy, you hear sometimes we don't want to work, you hear a lot of those things, but I'd like to shift that maybe just a little bit. I really call us more of the passionate generation, because we're really after what are those things that we really want to be, who do we want to become, and what do we want the society that we're living in, how do we want that really to be shaped?
Well, and that's going to require that people know who you are as an individual and having the environment to truly be an authentic leader. And I know that matters a lot to you, John.
I think authenticity is the social currency of the future. I think as we look at leadership and we look at the changes in the workplace, and by 2025, 75% of the workforce will be millennials. I believe that there's a paradigm shift that's occurred in our workforce due to COVID, and I think it's exacerbated some undercurrent feelings that people have felt before. I think authenticity has to be what people live with. I think there has to be transparency in organizations, and I think we have to continue to focus on how do we understand the individualistic person that we have in our organizations and how we partner with them. And I think ultimately, as we go forward in the future, people are going to vote with their feet in what they feel organizations truly support them and allow them to be who they are.
Well, isn't this the ultimate of personalization, to be seen and known and understood? I mean, we keep talking about diversity, and yet what we're really looking for is inclusion. And that leads me to you, Vaughn. I mean, how do you, as a young leader, promote individualism and innovations amongst your various teams?
Individualization and inclusion really is the secret sauce, right? And so you have to leverage that as a leader. And a big part of that is going to the people that actually do the work. And as people understand that you care about them as an individual, they're more likely to bring their full self to work and incorporate themselves into the mission. And so people have to have really a culture, an environment where they can speak freely and feel comfortable throwing out those ideas, giving that perspective that really can help your organization go from good to great and differentiate from your competitors.
Well, it's no accident that all of you are African American. I mean, this came from Trevor, who recruited you guys. And I mean, this is the new reality, right? And I think it's pretty cool. And so my question to you, Sam, is what are some examples that you can provide on how maybe other organizations, let alone yours, have stimulated employee engagement in today's age of personalization?
So we have councils throughout our organization, one for our patient care techs. We also have it within our surgical services department. The second piece that we also have and that we do is we have a walk in your shoes program. And so a couple of those councils and those programs, it allows us to be able to hear the voice of the staff. And so if you're not able to capture the voice of your staff through these councils, through the walk in your shoes programs, you're missing a big part to be able to move forward in the age of personalization.
I'd love to jump in and build on that a little bit more. I think mentorship is essential and critical as you develop your people within organizations. You not only need mentorship, but you need sponsorship. Your persons of color specifically need sponsorship, and often don't have sponsors, but have a lot of mentors. I think finding ways to create and acknowledge those nuances and differences is important. We also know that clinical care-wise, when you have more diverse clinical leadership and clinical talent, you typically have better health outcomes. And I think that leaders, we're now in this personalization age where you have to lead with authenticity, you have to lead with inclusivity, but as a leader, you have to provide psychological safety. And I would say part of that psychological safety creates that environment where leaders can help others be at their best.
Well, and quite candidly, I think that when people see you and more culturally diverse populations enter your system, there's a great dependency on your leadership. What do you guys feel is so critically important to inspire young employees early in career that want to serve in your shoes?
Yeah, and it's a great question, and really one of the passions that I have. I think it's critically important, as John and some of the others talked about, mentorship and sponsorship. In the same way that we're mentored, I think it's our responsibility to do that for others.
Do you think that culturally diverse populations want recognition or respect?
Yeah, respect. Absolutely respect. A lot of the things that we do and just some of the path that we've had to endure over the last 30, 40, 50 plus years is we've really wanted society to view us as equals, to really view us as a population that can really make a change in the world. And a lot of us don't do that for the recognition. We just want to be viewed as a group, as a culture that can make change.
Well, just to interject, respect is recognition, I think, right? Because when you demonstrate that level of respect, especially within African American culture and other diverse groups, you are showing that recognition. So I think they play off each other, but go ahead, John.
Great point. I was going to throw another R in there, which I think is more to the point, results. That's what we want, results. So we want to be able to achieve those same level of results without barriers. And I think the respect, the recognition that comes all in it. But ultimately, to Trevor's point, we're doing it for the people. I think, those guys on this call, it is a moral obligation for us to continue to support those who look like us and those who don't, to trailblaze, to be in pathways, be in rooms where we're the youngest and most diverse person in the room. And guess what? That's okay. We know what we represent and we know who we represent. And we do that for a larger cause. And I'm just privileged to have the opportunity to sit in the seat that I am and now be able to influence thousands of lives in a positive way every day. So I'm just very grateful for that.
We as an industry really need to do is turn diversity, equity, and inclusion from a buzzword into actual actions. We need to start, holding our teams and holding each other accountable. We've seen really across the industry a big shift in hiring chief diversity officers and other and chief equity officers, but there's in many organizations that you'll see, there's not really an action plan that comes behind it.
Guys, I've heard three things to keep it simple. 1, networking. 2, authenticity. And 3, discovery. When you put yourself out there and you do it authentically, you'll be discovered. Not because of the color of your skin, but because of the person that you are. And then your culture just adds value and gives who you are as an individual distinction.